How do I establish financial independence? Financial independence is actually the first step to you living a softer life. So, if you want some tips and tricks on how to be more independent financially, stay tuned because I have some real life tips that I have used in my own life that have helped me to achieve financial independence. So, if that's something you're interested in, please like, comment, share if you think that this is something that someone else would be interested in, and let's get into it. So, as a woman, one of the things that I hear a lot of women say is, I'm just waiting for a man to come and just pay my bills and just make things easier for me because I want a softer life. And I see a lot of women kind of in this waiting game where they're kind of waiting for some man to come and actually give them the life that they always wanted. So for me, personal story is that I wanted to buy a house and I was waiting to get married in order to buy a home for myself. And I waited for a really, really long time. And I started to realize, like, why am I doing this? Like, why am I waiting for like someone to come and like buy me this house or buy me this thing that I want? And so I started thinking about it and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to buy the house myself because this is a good investment for me. And at the end of the day, even if I don't want to live in the house, I could always rent it out and it could always be a money move. And I went ahead and I bought the house. And I could say that that was probably one of the best decisions I've made because I wasn't waiting on someone to like hypothetically do this thing for me that I could do myself. And I know that if you're tuning in and you're like that and you're waiting for, marriage to come to do this, this, and that, I get it because I've been in that position. But I want to give you some good, solid advice in order to get you to a place where you're totally financially independent and you're not waiting on someone to give you the life that you honestly deserve. The first thing is you have to figure out your purpose. A lot of people are walking around purposeless and not really doing the thing that God has set them up on this world to do. That is the first thing you have to do before anything, to be quite honest, because you don't want to get to a place in your life that years have passed and you're like, oh my gosh, I haven't even pursued the thing that God has put me on this earth to do. And to be quite honest, when you pursue purpose, sometimes the things that you want actually start to pursue you. When you pursue the things that you're supposed to be on this world doing, you'll be surprised how much your life opens up. So, given that, figure out what you're passionate about, figure out what you're good at, and figure out what can make you money with those two things. I call it the secret sauce, and I have a book about identity. I'll leave the link down below, but there's an activity within that book that talks about like the secret sauce and what exactly your secret sauce is in regards to what you're good at and what you believe your purpose is on this earth. And when you find the intersection between those two things, that's the money spot. Like that's where you could actually make like a very lucrative career, whether it is having your own business or whether it's working for someone else. And for the record, there is nothing wrong with working for somebody else. I hear a lot of people right now in this grind culture, kind of making people feel bad for taking like a corporate route or doing a 9 to 5. Like, if that's what you have to do in order to get yourself to where you need to be, that is okay. That's okay. I know a lot of people who work corporate jobs or work a 9 to 5 that live very comfortable lives. And I know people who are full-time entrepreneurs who live very comfortable lives, and they're both pursuing purpose. So just because you work for a 9 to 5 or just because you're an entrepreneur, whatever the case may be, it doesn't mean like because you're working a 9 to 5 that you're not pursuing purpose. Like that could be a part of God's purpose for you, but you have to figure out what that is and you have to pursue it full on. And so the second thing I would say is get rid of your deficits. Okay. So everybody says that your value is what your assets minus your liabilities. You need to figure out where your liabilities are. What are the things that are necessary in your life to spend on, and what are the unnecessary things? And we all have unnecessary things. Figure out what your guilty pleasure is and be very honest with yourself about it. For some of you, it's traveling. You love to travel. But the truth is, if you're traveling 4 times a month, maybe you could cut that back to once a month so that you could save some money and make sure that you're setting yourself up for success when it comes to your finances. For some of us, it's shopping. Like some of us, like me, I love Amazon. I love getting new makeup products. Like if you're like me, maybe you could scale that back a little bit to make sure that you are making the right cushion for yourself and you're making the best financial decisions. Whatever those deficits are, you really want to make sure that you hone in on those and really figure out how much you're spending there so that that money can be reallocated to something that's actually going to put money back into your pocket. And so the third thing, so figure out the places in which you're dependent on people financially. I'm not necessarily talking about your employer, but if there's different places or areas of your life that you're like, I have to depend on XYZ person in order to figure this out for me, then those are the key areas that you want to start to attack. Like, how much money do I have to start bringing in order for this not to be a dependency I have? It doesn't mean that the person can't help you, but you should never be in a situation where they have to be there or you're like out of luck, because that's not a soft life. That's a life full of anxiety. Because the truth is, if they start treating you crazy, you're going to second guess leaving them because you know that you need them to survive. And so figure out what you can do or what levers you can pull in order to make sure that you are building some independence around yourself. And I understand people are in different situations. Some people are sick and shut in and they have to depend on people. And I totally understand that. And that is understandable. But if you are able bodied and you can, figure stuff out for yourself, you still are strong in your mind and your body, then you can still figure these things out in order to gain that financial independence. Number 4, even if you live with another person, have enough money that you can live by yourself. This is a huge key. I don't care whether you're married, I don't care whether you're in a relationship. Always have enough that if you had to live alone, you could. And the reason why I say that this is a very vital key to a soft life is some people don't realize that they are in mental bondage. They are in a situation that they have no other choice to be in. And a lot of times, living a soft life has to do with having choices. Like you have a choice whether you want to stay in a situation or whether you want to leave a situation. You have a choice between whether you want to clean your house or whether you want to hire someone. Like having those choices are really important and critical to living that soft life that you want to live. The third thing I would say, and even like when I say deficits, if you're relying on someone for a ride, figuring out how to get a car, if you don't have this or that, like you have to figure out that independence around yourself. And that really starts with financial independence. So, that's all we're going to talk about today. This is part 1 of like the keys to the soft life. If this was helpful, please comment. If there's more things that you guys think I should be talking about, please let me know. Like, subscribe. If you're feeling this content, please share. And I'll talk to you all soon. See ya.